I'm a senior wetland biologist and also a senior design technician. So my workload's kind of split two ways. I do a lot of the wetland work, which is the permitting, delineations, and part of that is also doing some threatened and endangered species studies. But also as a designer, I've learned how to do soil and erosion control design. I do some stormwater design. I have some fairly advanced CAD skills and drafting skills. So I do a whole mix of different things here in this office. A wetland biologist, your job is to go out and identify and determine the boundary between a wetland and an upland. We base that on three criteria. The vegetation growing there. Is that vegetation suited to growing in saturated conditions or not saturated conditions? That's really the biology part. While you're at it, you also have to be a little bit of a geologist. You have to be able to take soil samples, look at these soils, and determine whether or not these soils were created under saturated conditions or not, basically by looking at the colors and looking for what they call a redox feature, which is a concentration of minerals that'll give you a bright color against a darker background of the soil. And the last thing is evidence of hydrology. If you're splashing through the site, there's a chance it's a wetland. Honestly, I think it's getting to see the behind the scenes things that people don't get to see. Getting to go into places that a lot of people will never get to go into. That's something I always found interesting. I got into this kind of work starting as a young child. I was always drawn to nature and being outside. I had a father that always took me out into the world with him, and from that carried me into college. In college, I got a degree in environmental studies with a minor in cartography, which kind of directed me into the civil engineering world as a draftsman. And through that, I slowly built up a repertoire of skills as a biologist, and eventually I got a master's degree in aquatic biology. And since then, I've been just working my way through and being a biologist, but also being a jack of all trades. I love the way JHA empowers a process. It's their greatest core value. It's a way that they give you a workflow that lets you utilize the team to the most efficient means possible. It's great. You never feel like you are stuck. When you run into a wall, you have multiple places to reach out to try to find your way around it. Well, JHA offers a great work-life balance. They allow me to kind of work at the way most efficient for me. One is that my job requires a lot of field work, and it's a lot of times advantageous for me to be up and out of here a lot earlier than most of the JHA companies even thinking about getting to work. And that gives me the advantage also of having a young son, being home when he gets home from school, so that I have a chance to do something with him after school, or even just to get caught up on some yard work after work.